Welcome to the Words That Change Lives podcast, helping leaders, coaches, and small business owners to 10 times the impact of their message. Join us as we delve into the art of powerful language, enabling you to speak with unwavering honesty, communicate authentically, and create a lasting impression with every word.
So, when it comes to landing a TEDx gig, I would like you to don a persona, and that is the persona of Sherlock Holmes. Put the cap on, get the pipe out and the monocle or whatever it is, and I think actually that is not necessarily associated with Sherlock Holmes, but you need to become a Sherlock in order to get in the right mindset for finding the right event for you. Because TEDx events happen all over the world, but sometimes it can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. And I want to help demystify that for you today. This episode is all about landing your TEDx gig. And you've got to kind of think of it that they don't just accept any story. A curator is looking for the right fit and is looking for the right fit in relation to the theme of the event and all the other talks that they're curating. It all fits together rather than a set of singular talks. It has to align. And so what you want to do is make sure that you're shining and you're shining clearly so that they can see how your idea fits into their theme and their event in the best way possible. And I've helped many clients to land TEDx gigs by showing their strengths, articulating their idea clearly, but most importantly, sharing how their idea is going to benefit the audience of that particular event. Rather than focusing on you and thinking, here I am, I'm a speaker, can I speak at your event? Which does happen, by the way. It's about completely thinking differently and making sure that your idea is communicated in a way that makes it stand out and that you are positioning yourself in the best way possible. Now, there is a pitch template that if you are following this method or this approach and you are following this challenge live, then you have received that pitch template. And in that pitch template, I go into detail about how you can best present yourself. And that's as part of this challenge. If you want to get more information on that, please contact hello@helenpackham.com if you're not part of the live challenge. But I have provided that. So if you're going through this challenge, please look at that because that will really, really help you in thinking about how to actually pitch yourself. The application process can seem daunting, but there are steps that you can take to make your application stand out. So I want to run you through a few of those today because you have to find the right event for you. And the best place to start with that is going on to TEDx.com and looking on the map of all of the TEDx events that are coming up. That's the best place to start your Sherlock search. It's not going to be immediately apparent what event is happening where, what the theme of that event is, what the speaker submission information is. You will probably need to find that out yourself by looking in various places. But the place to start first is TEDx.com. It's not immediately going to be handed to you on a plate. And I think it is deliberately done that way so that you do have to really be focusing in on what that is. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Go on to TEDx.com first of all and have a look at some events. Now, to help narrow your search, your needle in a haystack search, the best place to start is by locating an event that is close to where you live or where you have a connection, because a TEDx license is pitched for a particular place for particular reasons. When you pitch for the license, and I was part of that whole process, we had to state why we wanted that event to happen and how it was going to benefit people in the local area. TEDx events are independently organized TED events. They are not TED events. They are licensed TEDx events that are independently organized. That means they're run by a volunteer team who have come together to put on that event. Nobody who runs that gets paid. It's volunteer only. And so it's very community based. And so if you've got a connection to a particular area, say, for example, you live in Southampton and there is a TEDx event in Southampton, I would be looking at that first. I would be finding out, when is that event happening? What is the theme of that event? And have they said anything on a website or a social media place that is identifying what the speaker process is, or that is still looking for speakers? Doing that research is going to start to get you in the mindset of narrowing down where you need to be looking and where to start focusing on shaping your idea around that particular theme. Now, TEDx events have different themes. It could be one of my clients spoke at a TED event this year, which was creativity through adversity. And so his talk, which was around survival psychology, was focused on that. So when he pitched into that particular event, he focused his particular talk, which was around survival psychology, on how you can encourage creative thinking by overcoming survival psychology mind blocks. So he adapted his idea to that particular theme and made that fit. He stood out and he got the gig. And so you can have your idea, but it needs to be fitting in with particular themes, particular events. My TEDx event was called We Can Be Heroes. And so that's quite a broad theme. And I focused on how my hero's journey of being a normal, ordinary mum could help other people in terms of identity and confidence. And so therefore it was like the everyday hero rather than a big hero's been on a big journey. And you'll find that most TEDx themes do have a way of you being able to adapt your idea to that theme. It's about looking at the angle. It's about looking at how that fits and how the angle is relevant. But you need to find the events first. So you go onto TEDx.com, you zoom into the map, you see, then maybe do a Google search of that event. What are the dates? Are there any information about speaker applications? Are there any deadlines that you can find? This is the first step to then pitching yourself clearly and articulately and using video to submit your idea. And I have put all of that on the TEDx pitch template. Essentially, they want to hear about what your idea is. They want to hear why you are the best person to deliver that idea. And then they want to hear what the key takeaways are for the audience. Essentially, when you're applying for TEDx, that is what they want to hear. Of recent times, there has been a very exciting announcement as of time of recording that is happening in December at Brighton. And it's the first TED Idea Search. This is TED. This is not TEDx. Chris Anderson is going to be hosting the event. I'm going. I'm very excited. And that is a fantastic way of sharing the idea. And they were very clear in the application process of what they wanted. They wanted those things. What is the idea? Why are you the best person to give it? And what are the takeaways? And they wanted a 2-minute video explaining those things. They were very clear in the guidelines of what they were looking for in the submission. And so if a TEDx event is being that clear, you follow that to the letter. If not, you follow the similar approach if there is no very clear way of applying. Because this is the other thing that you must know, is that because TEDx is volunteer run, TEDx, not TED, that means that you might be dealing with a one-man band. You might be dealing with one person who is dealing with speaker applications, web stuff, social media, finance, all of that stuff on their own, which is a lot. And so there may not be a clear application process, but that should not stop you from applying. When I applied for my TEDx event, there was no application process. I found the email of the curator. I got the email of the curator and I emailed him. And so you shouldn't let that stop you. And this is why becoming a Sherlock is really, really important. Don't let any ambiguity stop you from being a Sherlock and finding out about that particular event. So what I recommend doing today, and if you are following the live challenge, you will have received a link to a Google form, which is asking you to look at the TED events and put them down. So maybe look at 2 to 3 events, research that, and then put them down and fill them in. See what you can find out about deadlines, submission processes, and themes, and tell us that. And then think about what support you need to strengthen your application and put that down. Now, if you are listening at any other time other than the live event, which is happening in January 2025, you can also do this and you can contact me and at hello@helenpackham.com. But if you were taking part in the live challenge, you will see that there is a form you can fill in that will help you capture this information and help us understand too where you're at with it. Because I know that this part of the journey can be tricky for some. In fact, I really know that because I get so many people contact me when they're stuck at this part. I think a lot of people think it's a lot more straightforward and just communicated really clearly, but that's just not how it works because we're dealing with independently run TEDx events. So it's going to be different depending on how many people are on the team. I was lucky with my TEDx event. We had 25 volunteers on our team. I was responsible for curation, speaker coaching, speaker delivery. That was my responsibility. But other events have less people on their team. Okay, so have a research, look for some events, tell us about the events, look at deadlines, submission process and themes, what have you found out, and look at what support you need to strengthen your application. Let us know. It's very exciting, and I will see you on the final episode of this series tomorrow, where I'm going to be sharing why now is the time to be landing a TEDx gig.
Thanks for listening to Words That Change Lives. Please rate, review and follow on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts. It really means the world and helps me to reach more people so that we can all harness the power of our words and change lives for the better.